Good morning. Thank you so much for coming today. I know you have so much on your mind and your heart, and it was really hard to make the time for this. And so I very, very much appreciate it. So welcome. Marilee, you're the only person here. I'm so honored because we've been on this journey for a long time together. And so I'm very happy you're here. But I thought because there's so much swirling on our minds, we should start with a little centering exercise. So we will be here now. So if you would join me, I want us to just do a little quick deep breathing. So why don't we close our eyes and just feel your feet on the ground. Move them around a little bit, feel it, just to get centered and grounded. And now feel your hands wherever they are. They may actually be folded together or on your armchair arms or on your legs. Just feel where they are for a moment. Keep your gentle breathing. And now let's take one deep breath in and out. And the next time, count your breath in. And when you breathe out the same number. Let's see if we can do that. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. All right, let's open our eyes and be here. And I hope you feel a little bit more relaxed now. So let's just talk about what we're going to be doing today. And I wanted to show you our intention. And our intention is that this is a safe place for you and you can express yourself and participate. I can always count on you for that. And the next is our purpose, which is to bring intention to attention. So our attention gets split in a million directions. So we're going to try to be more thoughtful about how we spend our attention in hopes of building our durability of body, mind, and spirit. And we know that being durable is to last a long time and to be effective. And I think I've told you that I am getting a certification from the Digital Wellness Institute. And they have started this new program, brand new. I'm in the first cohort of students. And I've been in this game for a long time, as you know. And I was very pleasantly surprised by how much I learned and how much new research they were bringing to the table right up to center COVID, you know, the latest research. So I very much appreciated that. And we're going to be, I'm going to show you some of those things that I learned today. They have come up with some new definitions. Digital well-being, state that occur when we actively manage our attention in front of phones, internet, technology in general. And digital flourishing is a term they use. It's an empowerment-oriented approach to digital wellness. So actually taking active steps to flourish in the digital environment. And they actually came up with this digital flourishing wheel. If we start from about 10 o'clock and go clockwise, we can look at the 6 topics here: mental health, physical health, productivity, digital citizenship, well-being, and relationships. And that pretty much covers the gamut in your life. And I think it dovetails very well with the durable message, which is to interact with in real life and digital life in service of your humanity and keeping the special things about you durable. I'm talking your senses of not only your 5 senses, but creativity, curiosity, all those things that you can do that your machines cannot do. So our focus today is going to be on 3 parts of the wheel: productivity, relationships, and well-being. And before we get started, I thought we could have a quick reflection on just what you value in life. What do you cherish most and what do you prize most in your life? And we're going to take about 30 seconds to think about that, and then we'll come back together. So I'll start the 30 seconds now. So I know there isn't anything more personal in this really, but I'm wondering if you'd be willing to share any thoughts about what you value in life. Now, if you're speaking, you're on mute. So if you could unmute, then I can hear you.
The three things I value most are family, of course, and predictably, friends, and both the physical and natural environment.
Beautiful. So in order to experience those things, you don't want to waste your time, right? You don't want to waste your attention.
Nope.
So if we could be aware of how we're doing that, then we can spend more time doing those things that we value. And those are gorgeous, wonderful things. And I have to say that I'm kind of in line with that too. So thank you for sharing. So let's jump into a little productivity right now. And I can show you that. This thing gets in the way of our productivity. That's just what I'm going to say. And it's really interesting because you and I have been discussing this for years at this point, but the research is now coming out. Basically, this woman sitting here on the right, I'm not sure you can see her.
Oh, I sure can.
Okay, that's good. She is trying not to check her phone. That is taking up space in her mind, and it's taking away from her productivity. It's decreasing her cognitive load. It's adding to a cognitive load, actually. It's taking away from her productivity. And so the Digital Wellness Collective calls that mere presence. The simple sight of your phone will sap your creativity when you're trying to work. And so pro tip number one is to increase your productivity, place your phone out of sight. And that is the concept of out of sight, out of mind. It's very powerful, not only for your work, but also the people in your life. They love to have eye contact, and that's how they know you care. People
I just learned something important.
Oh, good. I'm glad. But to tell you the truth, another piece of research is that people actually feel a sort of physical pain when you fob them. You use your phone to snub them. And so it really feeds people's souls if you look in their eyes, right down to the very youngest among us. And they love you to look at them.
Probably.
So we have to start that from the very, very beginning. And, your grandson, Michael, might love this concept of being the steward of his own ship. In other words, to become aware that his devices can push him around and that he doesn't want that. A lot of teenagers and young people hate that when they realize how persuasive technology works. They want to be their stewards of their own ship, and they can develop more of a tool mindset. That is that the tools and the phone, the wrench and the screwdriver and the phone are all in the same category in service of him, in service of his awesomeness. And so that's a really important thing for kids to understand, and maybe a way we can have common ground with them. The other thing is to know that for us to kind of understand why they're using these tools, and 97% of them are playing video games at this point. 50% of those are using it to connect with other people. We know how important that is during COVID. And so we have to become more sensitive to what they're doing, more understanding of what they're trying to accomplish. Yet they need to also learn the holy trinity of mental health. And that is nutrition, getting enough physical activity, and enough sleep. And this is what gets out of whack when we as parents don't help them, don't guide them to understand digital wellness. And we also have to be watchful for red flags. So these are some red flags that kids are getting carried away with: games, social media. There are so many ways to get caught up in your phone because of persuasive design. The first red flag is trouble turning it off and winding down before bed. That's a red flag that's overcoming their need for sleep. And of course, that's foundational, that they need enough sleep. Second one is skipping breakfast to run off back to their tech activity. Oh, no, I can't eat right now, Mom. And then they scoot out of the room. Red flag to monitor them over time and see if this is going to become a pattern. And then playing online for hours, but having no time for physical exercise. I just can't my friends are on here, we're on this game and blah, blah, blah. Yes, there are techniques you have to use to figure out how to get them off. You don't want to just yank them right off because that can cause them a lot of social embarrassment. But that's why offline, it's time for getting a discussion going back to values. What do we value? So hopefully ahead of time, you'll have a chance to talk with Michael or whomever about what do they value in life, and and also the importance of boundaries. Now, boundaries don't have to be an electric fence. I kind of like these boundaries because they're loose. They're almost a choice, they're a choice. He has a choice to actually stay on one side or the other or go around the back. And so I think that leads to less resistance on the part of a young person. And so those are some ideas. So you want to ask them offline while you're setting boundaries or before you set them to have their buy-in, especially what do you like to do online? Why do you like to do it? Are you on there with other people? How do you feel when you're doing that activity? And how do you feel after you stop? It's funny, if you ask these questions, they may admit they might not feel that great while they're doing it. They actually feel like they're compelled to do it and they can't stop. And they may say, oh my gosh, I feel so much better when I stop, which is a realization for them. So those are great questions to have when you're trying to figure out how to get at boundaries. Also, you have to probably throw in the idea of life skills that they need to, if he ever wants to fly free, he needs to know how to do the dishes and cook and do the laundry and clean up and clean the toilet and all that stuff so he can live on his own. So the pro tip number 2 is the American Academy of Pediatrics Media Time Calculator, which I demonstrate on my website. It's very powerful. You sit elbow to elbow with your child and you show their 24-hour day and what they need to do. It comes pre-populated with the number of hours of sleep according to their age. So it starts there. And that's when the media time shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. And by the time they've got meals and school and everything else in there, if they go to school in person, there's very little time for screen entertainment. And even if they are online for school all day, there's still little time for media entertainment. So it's still an effective tool. But we also have to think about your brain and how to keep you durable and managing your attention and having enough time to do what you value. And so I thought today it was very fitting to talk about this topic, stress. Yes, stress. The last, I'm not going to go into how many number of years, but certainly this week it's been stressful this past few months, especially during the pandemic. And so I learned about stress from the Digital Wellness Institute, and that is, it can wear us down like a pencil eraser and actually can shorten our lifespan, because once that pencil is erased all the way down, it's kind of the end. That's what happens in our cells. So we don't want to have stress wearing down what's called our telomeres. They're in every cell in our body, and stress wears them down. They don't build back up, they only wear down. So we have to understand about stress. On the left is a type 1 stress, which is temporary stress. So you're worried about getting to an appointment. You are stressed out on the beltway, hands on the wheel, just have to get to the appointment. You get to the appointment, it's over, you made it, stress goes down to baseline, even below. But type 2 stress is different. This is chronic stress. This is stress about worrying about trees coming down in your neighborhood. And so you calm down about that, and then you worry about your husband's health, and you calm down about that. Guess what? You didn't come down all the way. You never came down all the way. It's like an underlying hum of stress. And so you're like, oh my gosh, I felt before I took the course, there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm so excited that there's something you can do about it. You're going to love it. They call it 3 resilience deposits every day, 3 resilience deposits. So what are they? Those are, here we go, 3 of these a day: 10 minutes meditation, 10-minute call with a friend, 10 minutes in nature, 10 minutes of exercise A 27-minute nap, do not ask me why. I haven't looked it up yet. They didn't actually say why 27-minute, but I'm passing it along. 3 things you're grateful for, and consume less news. And if you do those 3 things, you are going to be reducing and bending the curve on stress. Honest to goodness, and you know it, because when you go out for a half-hour walk, you feel better. So I'm preaching the choir here a little bit, but you're seeing what statistically shows works in people pushing down their curve of stress. So takeaways from this 15-minute get together are, if we base our digital decisions on our values, we can have more control over what we're doing, because there will be an underlying reason why we're engaging with screens and the internet. The second one is, when devices are out of sight, they're out of mind. And that can apply to your work life and also your personal life. And that daily resilience deposits bend the curve on stress. Yeah, that's so great. So those are our main takeaways today. And I wanted to give you a couple take homes. And that is the flourishing wheel. I'm going to send you a link to that. And I'm going to send you a handout, or just a printout, of life skills that young people need in order to be self-reliant and durable for a lifetime. So I definitely want to send you those.
Definitely.
And I wanted to also say something to you just personally, because I know that you're a community activist, a lifelong community activist. And I too have followed your lead so many times in life, and I'm so grateful for that. And I just wanted to say that, Marilee, I think we have to just step into the digital world, and we have to become activists there. And so if we see something egregious or wrong with the tech companies, and the persuasive technology is getting, it's so obvious, we should say something about it, not only to them. And I have something about this on my website. I can share that link with you too, of how to engage with technology companies. But our lawmakers, we know who they are. We know Mark Keem is a technologist. And so I think it's a matter of our not becoming complacent, but still becoming advocates for human beings in the digital space. So I want to thank you for being with me. And I'm really glad you're here. So thank you so much for coming.
Glad to be here. This is very exciting. I always learn something. Obviously, it's a major concern, since we're now all consumed with digital. And I think COVID has pushed us into almost a digital weir or fish trap, where you can't get out, because we're so dependent now upon digital for our normal personal communications.
Right. So looking out the window past my screen, I know that I need to get out there for some of those resilience deposits.
Yeah, I like the idea of the resilience deposits. That's been my takeaway. And it's very hard to take your device, and put it away for a while, because again, there's so much information coming in. I refuse to be on anybody's text streams, because that's very distracting. I've asked all my friends, just don't include me in your message chains.
Okay.
Because you get a bell on your iPhone, and you're compelled to drop what you're doing and go pay attention to your phone. So I don't have any news alerts. I have nothing. My phone is silent, except for the messages that come through from my family. And they're the only ones that basically, and I limit also who has my telephone number. Very few people do.
I am very not surprised at all that you are a tech activist for yourself, and you were also willing to share me. I know that you've got other things to do, and you do want to not spend too much time on screen. So that's why I'm especially grateful.
Yeah, this subject is so important, and digital wellness is something that I hope will be a part of the school curriculum, if it's not already.
Yes, right. You mean for nationwide, right? I think that that's another thing that is an area of activism that is not yet filled. And so, you know that I tried to get a law pass. We did get a law passed in Virginia,
Right,
and but then everything blew up with COVID. So we'll see. We'll get back to it.
right, right. So, okay. And anything else you need to know from me?
No, that is it. I'm really glad you told me what your takeaway is, because I was wondering that.
No, this is excellent. And is this presentation on durable human?
If you don't mind me sharing it, I certainly can share it.
Oh, I think it should be. It's valuable.
Oh,
In
wow.
15, 20 minutes, I've learned 2 takeaways.
Win. Thank you. All right. Well, you have a wonderful day, and I'm sure we'll communicate soon.
Well, I hope so. Take care.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.